What's up, guys? Edrone here, and today we're going to take a look at what might possibly be the best thing I've ever bought for my quad for $10. Stay tuned. That's right. Today we are looking at the Lucky Box buzzer from FullSpeedRC.com. This is a very tiny little miniature buzzer that actually has a attached one-cell LiPo. So if you eject your battery, this little guy is actually going to go off and beep for up to 5 hours depending on your settings. So taking a look, it has some heat shrink here, and you can see it has some unsoldered pads here. It looks like there's 4 pads, but we're only going to be using 3. Here's a functions button here, and there is the full speed logo with the 5-volt ground and the backup ground there. And there's the wire they give you, 3 different silicone wires already stripped and ready to go, just need to be pre-tinned. And they also give you a spare piece of heat shrink because we're going to need to cut this heat shrink off in order to pre-tin the pads and solder up the wires to get this thing attached to the quad. So I'm very excited about this little buzzer. It actually can act as a regular buzzer as well as, if you eject your battery, a lost quad, find your quad buzzer. To give you guys an idea of the size, this is the Lucky Box next to the Hawkeye Firefly action camera. And the Hawkeye Firefly action camera is pretty small, but you can see how small the buzzer is compared to this camera. So how this little guy works is, you wire this up to your flight controller, and while your main battery is plugged in, it actually charges the one cell that is attached to this buzzer, so that when your main battery gets ejected, it has battery power to actually charge. Here you can see the pads here that need to be pre-tinned. We're going to go ahead and pre-tin these pads. That way we can get this buzzer ready to be soldered up with the wires. We got the 3 pads tinned on the buzzer, the 5-volt, and the 2 grounds. One ground will hook to the ground if you have a buzzer ground, and the other can go to a common ground. Got our 3 wires soldered on, red for 5-volt, black for the ground, and white for the common ground. Now we need to go ahead and put the other piece of heat shrink back on the buzzer. Got the heat shrink placed on the buzzer. Going to take a hair dryer on high heat and shrink this down to size. I already have a normal buzzer in the quad. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little sound comparison. I'll go ahead and play the normal regular buzzer sound first. Then we'll do the new Lucky buzzer. This is the full speed Lucky buzzer sound. Definitely louder. If you wire this buzzer up wrong, the buzzer will just continue to just make a noise, like a solid noise. So you want to make sure you wire it up right. You want your red to go to 5-volt. You want your white to go to the buzzer ground and the black to go to a common ground. You can do like an ESC ground or any other ground on your board. I was wanting to mount this underneath of the flight controller behind the camera, but it will not fit. It's just a little bit too tall. Time to test this out. We're going to go ahead and unplug our battery, and we're going to see what happens. Battery's unplugged. See what happens. Nothing yet. Still waiting. Still waiting. There we go. That was one beep. There's another beep. Sounds pretty good. So you can see the LED lights up as well as it making the beep. Now how do we stop it? Want to plug in power.
Telemetry recovered.
And then we're going to unplug.
Low battery. Battery critical. Telemetry lost.
And I think that should shut it off. Yeah, when you finally find your quad, plug your battery in and then like unplug it right away. And that should shut off the buzzer so it doesn't go off or keep going off. So yeah, what you'll have to do when you're flying regularly is when you get done flying, unplug your battery and then plug it back in and then unplug it again. And that way the buzzer knows that it doesn't need to go off. It's only going to go off if the battery comes out after you're flying and you crash, the battery comes out and then the battery doesn't plug back in right away. Then the buzzer is going to go off so you can find it. Okay, so I got the full speed Lucky buzzer mounted near the back of the quad. This build is so tight, there's just not a lot of places for it. I try to mount it underneath of the all-in-one power board, and it's just too tall. It's not going to fit there. So unfortunately, this is really the only place I can mount the buzzer. It's out of the prop line, so that's okay. I didn't want to mount it on top of the flight controller because I have the soft mounted gyro and I don't want that to end up, touching it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description for this buzzer. It's actually, well, it was on sale at Banggood for under $10, but it's probably back up to regular price, which is still not that bad. It's around $10. You can get it on Banggood or you can get it from the Full Speed website. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And definitely get you one of these buzzers if you have any kind of a quad. This is definitely a good insurance policy to make sure if your battery gets ejected, you still have hope of possibly finding your quad. Till next time, guys. Edrone, out.